Michael, the Blue Swallow, and the Secret of Eagle Rock. In the town of Sunny Cove, there was a steep, majestic hill that looked as if it was touching the clouds. It was called Eagle Rock. According to an old legend of the town, if you tied your dearest wish to a kite and flew it from this peak, the wind would take that wish and carry it up to the highest floor of the sky. 7-year-old Michael and his best friend Sarah had been waiting for this day for months. Because today was the most important day in the town, the Grand Kite Festival. Sarah had worked for weeks to make a magnificent kite out of bamboo sticks and silky paper. Its tail was made of long ribbons in the colors of the rainbow, and its name was the Blue Swallow. Sarah had written her biggest dream on this kite with a silver pen, to explore all the forests in the world one day. However, on the morning of the festival, something unlucky happened. As Sarah was walking down the steps in front of her house, she slipped and twisted her ankle. The doctor bandaged her ankle tightly and told her she must absolutely not walk. She had to rest in bed. Sarah sat in her bed, looking out of the window at the graying clouds, crying silently. All her hard work had gone to waste. When Michael saw his best friend so sad, he felt a deep ache in his heart. He held Sarah's hand. "Don't cry, Sarah," said Michael with a determined voice. "Even if you can't go up there, the Blue Swallow will." Sarah looked at him with teary eyes. "But how, Michael? I can't walk, the hill is too steep." Michael gently picked up the Blue Swallow from the table. "I will take it. I will climb Eagle Rock for you and fly it. And I will make sure your wish meets the wind. I promise." Sarah smiled, but there was worry in her eyes. "Be careful, Michael. I heard on the radio that a storm is approaching. Climbing the hill will be very hard today." Michael tied the kite carefully to his back so the wind wouldn't damage it, buttoned up his coat, and set off. By the time he reached the edge of the town, the weather had started to change rapidly. The sweet morning sun was gone, replaced by dark gray, angry, heavy clouds. The wind was shaking the branches of the roadside trees, whistling as it blew. Whoosh! Whoosh! A voice inside Michael said, "Turn back, Michael. It is too cold, it is going to rain. Why climb this cold hill when you could be sitting by the fireplace at home?" This was the voice of laziness and fear. But Michael put his hand on his heart. There, he felt the warmth of the promise he gave to Sarah. "No," he shouted against the wind. "I made a promise. The Blue Swallow must fly." When he got halfway, he entered the forest area. A thin rain began to drizzle. The dirt path turned into sticky, slippery mud. Michael's boots sank into the mud with every step. Squelch! Squelch! His feet felt heavier with every step. To make matters worse, a thick fog rolled in. It was very hard to see ahead. In the fog, the trees looked like giant shadows, like monsters with long arms. Michael shivered a little. He was worried about losing his way. Just then, he saw an old mountain goat perched on a rock. The goat shook its long beard and looked at him as if to say, "Bleat. Turn back, little boy. The hill is dangerous, a storm is coming." Michael stopped. His legs were tired. The mud was pulling him down. He was out of breath. I wish I hadn't promised, he thought for a moment. Wouldn't Sarah understand? She would. But then he felt the lightness of the kite on his back. That kite wasn't just paper and sticks, it was Sarah's hope. Friendship wasn't just eating ice cream on sunny days, it was carrying each other's load on stormy days. I can't turn back, Mr. Goat, said Michael. My friend is waiting for me. Michael followed the white pebbles on the ground and continued to move forward, slowly but surely, without getting lost in the fog. Finally, the forest ended and the rocky area began. There were no trees here, and the wind was much stronger and cooler. The wind seemed to not want Michael to climb the hill. It pushed against his chest and tried to blow his hat away. Worst of all, the wind was tugging at the kite on his back. The blue swallow fluttered wildly, as if it wanted to escape right away. If the string snapped or the kite crashed into the rocks and ripped, everything would be over. Michael pressed the kite to his chest. He hunched over to protect it from the wind with his body. The wind threw cold raindrops at his face like a slap. He squinted his eyes. I won't fight you, wind, shouted Michael. I just brought my friend's wish to you. Please don't make it hard for me, help me. Just then, he stepped on a wet stone and slipped. His knee hit the hard ground. It hurt a lot. His trousers were ripped and his knee was bleeding. A few tears rolled down his cheeks. He sat on the ground. It's too hard, he whispered. I don't think I can do it. I am so tired. At that moment, Sarah's face came into his mind. He remembered Sarah saying, I trust you, Michael. A promise wasn't just a breath coming out of your mouth. A promise was an invisible hand that pulled you up when things got hard. Michael wiped his sore knee, took a deep breath, and stood up again. Michael's don't break promises, he said through gritted teeth. And he continued to climb. And finally, Michael was at the very top of Eagle Rock. The town below looked like tiny little lights in the mist. Michael was soaking wet and cold, but he had done it. He was at the peak. Now came the most important part. Flying the kite. Michael untied the string of the blue swallow. The wind was crazy here, blowing from every direction. The moment he let go of the kite, the wind tossed it like a leaf. The kite crashed into the muddy ground. Michael ran and picked it up. He cleaned it. He tried again. It flipped over and crashed again. Michael paused. Using force doesn't work, he said. He tried to feel the wind. Instead of fighting the wind, he had to dance with it. He waited for that tiny pause when the wind calmed down and the direction straightened. He waited patiently. He waited. And right at that moment, he felt the wind blowing the right way. Go on, blue swallow, fly for Sarah, he said, releasing the kite into the air and starting to run. The wind caught under the wings of the blue swallow. The kite trembled, wobbled, and then, suddenly rose like a real bird. It rose, higher and higher. Amongst those dark grey clouds, it soared like a bright blue beacon of hope. The rainbow ribbons on its tail danced happily. Michael held the string tight. He could feel the vibration on the other end of the string in his fingers. This vibration was like the beating of Sarah's heart. The kite pierced through the clouds and went even higher. "Do you see it, Sarah?" shouted Michael into the empty sky. "Your wish is in the sky. We did it." After flying the kite for a while, Michael cut the string with scissors, just as the town tradition required. The kite was now free. The wind took it and carried it to the highest floor of the clouds, to the place where wishes come true. Michael watched until that blue dot disappeared from sight. The way back down was much easier, because the load of responsibility on Michael's shoulders was gone. His heart was as light as a bird. The mud now seemed fun, and the rain felt refreshing. When he arrived home, he was soaking wet. Without going to his own house, he ran straight to Sarah's. Sarah was sitting by the window, looking hopelessly at the sky. When she saw Michael at the garden gate, she excitedly tapped on the glass. When Michael entered the room, Sarah's eyes were shining. "I saw it," said Sarah with joy, trying to sit up. "I saw a blue dot amongst the clouds. Then it went even higher. That was my swallow, wasn't it?" Michael nodded with a tired but proud smile. "Yes, Sarah. Just as I promised, it went to the very top and became free." Sarah looked at Michael's muddy clothes, his ripped trousers, his grazed knee, and his red face. She understood what her friend had done for her, and how he had climbed that hill in that storm. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. She reached out and hugged Michael tightly. "Thank you, Michael," she said. "Not just for flying my kite, but for climbing that hill for me, and for not turning back even though you were scared. You are the bravest and most loyal friend in the world." Michael understood that day, keeping a promise is sometimes as hard as climbing stormy mountains. But seeing the happiness in your friend's eyes after keeping that promise is even more beautiful than watching the view from the highest peak in the world. That day, Michael and Sarah sat by the window, drank the hot cocoa Sarah's mum had made, and imagined which forest in the world the blue swallow was flying over right now.